Welcome to the Brisbane Big League. This week, round one of the 4X Cup from Bishop Park, with North's Devils at home to South's Magpies. Your commentators, former Australian captain Tom Radonicus and ABC Sports' Warren Boland.
Hello everyone. Well, this is the real thing, the first game of the season and the first serious test for these teams. And both clubs, while they did perform well last year, could be looking to their new signings as the men to hold the key to winning this match. Norths have picked up former Gold Coast and Penrith back rower Brooke Kennedy, while Souths now have the services of big Manly front rower Chris White back to the Magpies, and also at 5'8", Craig Groff, who'll be playing against his old club. And Tom, that could stir things up.
Well, this game this afternoon, it will turn into a very fiery encounter. Now, South's halfback and playmaker Craig Groff, well, he was a very important part of North's machine last year. Now, I can tell you something, those North players will spot him, and they'll also try to shut him down. But now, whether they can achieve this or not successfully, well, we're just going to have to wait and see this afternoon. I think South can win the game, and it should be, like I said before, it should be fire and brimstone.
And here comes Souths taking the field at Bishop Park, led out by Ken Robertson, their captain. At fullback is Paul Cameron. On one wing is Floyd Hill, Ken Robertson and Paul Donaghy in the setters. Peter Nocon on the other wing. Chris Hastings is the 5'8". Craig Groff is the halfback. Mark Lane at lock forward. Brent Vincent and Jason Hanrahan in the second row. And Peter Deeves, Mark Rockley and Chris White in the front row. And here come the Devils. Their skipper today, Ian McKenzie. The lineup, Lex Neal at fullback, Guy Harvey on one wing, Grant Benson and Ashley Bradnam in the setters, Danny Cramery on the wing, Mark Kellaway as the 5'8", Kane Cross at halfback, Brooke Kennedy in at lock forward, Ian McKenzie and Danny Johnson the second rowers, and the front row, John Alordi, hooker Troy Evans and Andrew McCarran. The referee for the match is Stuart Burnt, and Souths with the breeze at their back in the first half, and it is gusting up on occasion, so they will have the advantage of the wind through this first 40 minutes. A fine sunny day, a good surface for the first game of the season in the 4X Cup, and South taking it up hard, and the Magpies making a couple of changes to the originally named side, just switching players between the bench and the lineup, particularly in the fullback and wing spots. Nothing dramatic in the centre of the field as put downfield by Phil Cameron. Bounces away from Guy Harvey, and Harvey now takes them on as they wait the 10 metres back from him. They were all offside. Floyd Hill, the tackler. Taking it up hard now, Andrew McCarran. And Tom will look for some fairly torrid exchanges in the forwards.
Yes, I think so, Warren. Well, even now, this early in the game, we can see both sets of forwards. There's 3 men in every tackle, and I'm sure they're going to make those tackles hurt.
Kane Cross for North trying to get his outside men working. Lex Neal coming up to work off him. Now they switch it back across field. The defence moving up quickly on Mark Kellaway. Is forced to cut back into the centre of the field. And he is injured in that tackle, losing the ball as he hit the ground, but he is in considerable pain. Heavy tackle as he went back in amongst the big men. Brooke Kennedy trying to chase him down. They got him around the ankles, but they came over the top. And Mark Kellaway doesn't feel too well. Kellaway back on his feet, and the scrum win goes to Norths.
And that was two. Souths had the feed on that occasion, so that was good scrummaging by Norths.
Good burst upfield now by the Devils. It was Brooke Kennedy making good ground. But a dummy half goes Evans. Out now to Cramery. Cramery getting off the wing into centre field. Danny Johnson has a go. Again, the South defence is tight. Last tackle. Put ahead by Cross into the in-goal area. An awkward bounce for him, and I think Norths have scored the first try of the match. An awkward bounce for the South fullback as he tried to get back, and it was a good chase by the Devils. Just trying to pick up who actually scored the try, but that kick put through by Kane Cross, the halfback, and as a fullback, Cameron tried to get across to cover it. It took the awkward bounce, And a fortuitous bounce. There he is. Phil Cameron trying to get across, and it was Danny Cramery winning the chase to the ball. And there it is. First try of the season in the first game to Danny Cramery. Guy Harvey, the prolific point scorer for Norths, to attempt this shot at goal. And he certainly adds some stability to the Devils from season to season. Hits it well, using the wind just to straighten it up right between the posts. And a great start for Norths. They lead 6-0.
Good thinking here by young halfback Kane Cross. He has South in two minds what to do here. He puts a beautiful grubber in behind the line. But look at Danny Cameron. He comes flying through here, stretches the left hand out and dead set scores the try for Northern Suburbs. And what a good try.
In the State League on Wednesday, West defeated South 30-10. So South having to back up for their second game in 4 days. As Hill works it wide. Coming onto the ball there, Mark Lane in centre field. He's only 20 metres out. Now it's Lane. In fact, the previous runner was Brent Vincent. Only 15 out. Groff looks to his backs. Quickly on through the hands of Hastings. Robertson cut down in good defence by North. Groff. Now he goes to the left-hand side, throws a dummy. Hastings inside him. He too shapes to pass. The defence was up on his supports. It's the last tackle, only 5 metres out. South's trying to hit back. The pass back inside to Hanrahan. He goes over the line for the try. The pass turned back inside. Hanrahan found a little bit of space. And with his size and useful speed for a back rower, the defence simply couldn't contain him close to the line. They converged on him quickly. North's leading 6-4. 2 quick tries, one to each team early on here, but Groff looking to the outside, then switches it into Hanrahan. The tackle missed there, and they had to get him at the front line because he was so close to the goal line.
Craig Groff, look, he's scheming all the time. He looks outside, then turns the ball in to a perfect pass to Jason Hanrahan, and a bad missed tackle there, I think it was by John Alordi, and Jason Hanrahan puts the ball just to the left of the upright.
So Jason Hanrahan, the Rothmans medal winner, scores his first try of the season. Chris Hastings shooting for it, and he puts it straight between the posts. So the score locked at 6 points all.
Well, this is only one occasion that South have been in North's territory. They get up near the try line and they scored the try.
Actually, Andrew McCarron missing the tackle there.
Yeah, that's right. And it was poor defence there by the North players, especially their forwards.
Tap taken by Mark Rockley. Gets it away to Chris White. And here's Pyle driven into the ground. That's a spear tackle. And that'll be a penalty to South right in front. White gets up, clapping his hands, as if to say, well, you're going to have to do better than that to stop me. Right in front, surely they'll take the shot for goal.
Well, now that is dead set a spear tackle. Now, somebody should be sent off on that occasion.
2 penalties in a row go South's way, and they suddenly find themselves shooting for goal. Chris Hastings has 1 from 1. And he hits this sweetly as well. 2 from 2 for Hastings now. And South go to the lead by 8 points to 6. The tap taken by hooker Mark Rockley. In fact, it was Rockley who made that good tackle on Brooke Kennedy after Kennedy had turned the South forwards inside out. Now the ball dropped in the tackle by Brent Vincent. But the referee says North were at fault. There's a bit of talk going on out there. The referee's not too happy. He's going to have a quick word with Brent Vincent, even though he's got the penalty.
Yeah, well, and we see here, actually, the hooker, Troy Evans, he's involved in that tackle, and he just hangs on the player for too long. See how he holds his jersey from underneath? And that is a silly penalty. I'm sure that Grant Riggs, the North coach, he'll have plenty to say at half-time about these silly penalties.
Well, I think Vincent may have resented a little cuff across the face from one of the North's forwards as well. Now, strong and hard goes Peter Deeves. He's a chunky customer. Hanrahan, one off the ruck. Good ball and all tackle by Mackenzie over the top with Evans underneath. Groff, as the runner's coming off him hard, plenty of thrust in the South's attack at the present time.
Yes, and they've got a beautiful line down the left-hand side here. We see a beautiful cut-house pass.
Long ball to Donaghy. Donaghy out of one tackle. Going for the corner. He reaches out. I think he lost it. Referee says yes. He lost it in the motion of reaching for the line. And it'll come back to the 22. In fact, well, the referee must have ruled then that it was lost over the line.
Yeah, Paul Donaghy goes towards the line, and I think you'll see here, he just loses it just seconds before he puts the ball on the ground.
Souths have got it again. They work the scrum base move with Mark Lane to Groff to Robertson. He splits him. Robertson racing away, and the desperate dive from behind by the halfback Kane Cross couldn't quite reach him. And a simple play by Souths from the scrum base, and the North's defence not really adjusting to it quickly enough. Souths now leading 12 points to 6 with their second try. Look at the neatly worked move here. Mark Lane breaks as Craig Groff gives himself some space from the scrum. And where was the defence on Robertson? It was more than just an extra man. The defence really not adjusting at all.
Well, this is a typical set play, and wasn't it done to perfection? Mark Lane picking the ball up to Craig Groff, out to Kenny Robertson in a try.
Well, full credit to South, I suppose, rather than the defence being caught out. And Robertson, his first try of the year, and they're piling them on quickly. Hastings with his most difficult shot at goal yet. This is about 8 metres in from touch. They'll have to allow for the breeze. Should aim at that left-hand upright. He does. Hooks it back nicely with the breeze. Great kick from Chris Hastings. And that rubs salt into the wounds of North. And there's a player down behind the dead ball line.
Well, this set move, it's been around for donkey's years, but isn't it good to see them put on and to see them work basic football, but good football?
Deeves starting to get more involved in hitting it up. Now White. Back to Groff. On it goes to Robertson. Robertson shows a clean pair of heels once again. In fact, he was just flicked on the heel and he lost his balance. North defence trying to get back on side. Vincent goes ahead. Slips it out the back. Groff always there to pick up the scraps. And they may be sick of the sight of Craig Groff by the end of this game, his old teammates.
Well, Craig Groff and Ken Robertson, they're planning, scheming together, and you can see them talking to each other out there.
Gary O'Brien getting tangled up in the play the ball and concedes the penalty right in front of the posts. South's coach Chris Phelan prowling on the sideline, a former Parramatta player, and coaching Souths fairly successfully last year. South just missing the semis, came equal 5th after finishing second last in 91. Chris Hastings right in front. And he is right on target for the 4th time. And South take a handy lead, 16 points to 6. Harvey tries to get Norths in the right end of the field, where they haven't spent a whole lot of time. Floyd Hill gives it to White, and he winds up, showing some pace for a big man. Back to Floyd Hill. He is elusive and wants to quick play the ball. Kennedy made the tackle, but Hill was back on his feet quickly, but they've mucked it up, and Gary O'Brien comes up with it for North. Now Johnson works it wide. Cramery on the wing, stepping back in field.
Yeah, with 10 minutes to go, it's paramount that North now put their game together and score a try just before half-time. But what do they do? I'm not sure who that was.
McCarran was. Yeah, McCarran coughed the ball off, but it was a good hit by Hanrahan. He drove in and jolted the ball loose. Now Vincent steams ahead for South. 10 minutes to go in the first half. North scoring the first try of the match to lead 6-0. The Souths have put on 16 points since then. And 2 changes in North's lineup haven't helped them, losing the halfback Kane Cross and the hooker Troy Evans, both very important players obviously in those positions. And that will disjoint Norths, but the rot was setting in before those injuries. Groff gets it out to Lane, puts a little kick ahead. Cameron chasing. Guy Harvey didn't commit himself to the ball. Now he dives on it. North's fairly lucky to get away with that. That kick could well have produced another try. Harvey with a good run now. Catches the defence with their backs turned. Hill manages to get to him, and then Robertson finishes it.
Yeah, Troy Evans is back on the field now, and he has got a bandage around his head.
He goes into dummy half now. O'Brien gives it away to Benson near the halfway line. Johnson links it to Kellaway. Kennedy, Neal in from fullback. And once again, good defence by South to stop the play on the last tackle, and that's a handover. Now a penalty against North. Too slow to get back. Despite the fact it was a handover, they really made very little attempt to get back.
Yeah, but yeah, basic football here again by Norse, and you know, they're breaking all the rules, and I'm sure, like their coach Grant Ricks, he's going to be very upset with these fellas. They've been very bad boys out here today.
Well, the penalty's now running 8-2 in favour of Souths. Good football once again by the Magpie forwards. A replacement on for them. Just have to pick who that is up in a moment. They're back to the North 20-metre line. North will be getting sick of the sight of having their backs to the wall. Hastings, Groff with runners. Chris White leaping out of tackles. Hanrahan has already scored a try. Now the kick from Hastings. Back goes Kellaway. Kellaway knocks it over the dead ball line. Another narrow escape. The pressure continues.
South, you know, they're switching their point of attack at all stages, and the little grubber kick through there, and by the 5'8", Chris Hastings, and near another try there for South.
Grant Ricks, the coach of South, former Bronco, I should say coach of Norths, former Bronco. His first stint as a coach, I believe. Chris White brings it back. And another penalty goes to South against the high tackle this time. Evans being cautioned. And it should be another gift two-pointer.
Yeah, well, the tackle was high, and as we explained last week, that's what the rules are, and it did warrant a penalty, not a sending off.
Chris Hastings, just a few minutes before half-time, can make it all that much more difficult for Norths, who will have the wind in the second half, but they're going to have some catching up to do. And it's as easy as pie. He's having the time of his life out there, Chris Hastings. That's 5 from 5. And South's now leading by 18 points to 6. The restart once more from Harvey. He must be getting some kicking practice, if nothing else. And the metres gained now totally dominated by Souths. It's 706 to North 406. So virtually twice as much ground gained by Souths.
South have really controlled this ball well. I think their mistake rate is really good. And we see just there a great hit there by Andrew McCarron. He's even gone in to clean the tackle up then.
Yes, Vincent certainly got some for all his efforts there. Now Groff goes deep to Hanrahan. Well tackled by Mackenzie. 8 metres short of halfway.
I thought North would have come out in this game breathing fire and smoke. But really, they've really disappointed me. They've got no drive, and they just haven't put things together.
Neal knocked over 30 metres out from his own line. Cramery. South's defence is enthusiastic. Mackenzie slips it away, and through the middle goes the setter Bradnam. The defence, cover defence closed on him though. May have stepped the wrong way. Ran back into it. O'Brien, Kellaway, quickly moving it. Kennedy standing wide. Now it's Lex Neal.
Well, that's better football there from North. Yeah, they're putting this set of 6 really well together here, and they're letting the ball along the back line. You see another break here by Mark Kellaway.
Good stepping by Kellaway. They're 23 metres out. Last tackle. A try before half-time would be a boost, but Cramery can't hold the pass. Puts it on the ground, and Benson picks it up. That's a handover for the knock-on. So they've got 6 tackles in 2 minutes, North. Cramery. Where was the support? He had his hands free, looking for them.
Well, he's been into everything, Denny Cameron. He's coming off that wing. He's trying to get involved in the match, but like you said there, Warren, there's nobody backing him up.
Kennedy, Mackenzie, great tackle again. That time it was Hanrahan. The back rowers for South, really putting some shoulder to the wheel. Neal. It rebounded. Referee says it's not another 6.
Well, they're very lucky to get the ball back on that occasion, Norse, and I was on the 3rd tackle. Why kick the football? Why take the risks?
Now it's the 6th tackle. Evans drives it forward. Groff's back there. Cramery coming through on him. Groff easily beats 1. Mackenzie there to make the 2nd. Penalty to South. It's getting repetitious. This time against Kellaway, I think it was, holding him down in the tackle, or was it Mackenzie?
Yeah, it was Mark Kellaway and Ian Mackenzie, and they just stay too long on the player, and it's Mark Kellaway.
South now with the last chance before half-time. Again, White showing that he can offload.
I think he's really picked up some valuable lessons down there from Manly when he played in Sydney.
So the half-time siren sounds, and it's been all South, 18 points to 6, but the Devils will have the wind in the second half. And let's take a look at the half-time stats. South's getting through more defence, 73 tackles to North's 64. Overall errors, not surprisingly, more by North's there, with handling errors and missed tackles. The penalties is the decisive count. South's leading the penalties 10-3, scrums 3-1 to South. And look at the metres gained, 821 going the Magpies' way compared to 512 for North's. And that time in possession count, our computer seems to have gone astray there. We won't worry about that, but the important figure at the bottom, the score, South's leading 18 points to 6. So the second half underway from the boot of Hastings, and he'll notice the difference in this half as North's with the wind at their backs, but North's also have a lot of work to do. And there is a change in the South's lineup. Jason Hanrahan off the field and Jeff Wakefield taking his place. And will the Devils come out fired up by their coach Grant Ricks to turn things around in this second half? Johnson, 8 metres short of halfway.
We were talking about the stoppages in play in the penalty count in the first half, and it's not the referee's fault because Norse, they made the mistakes and they deserved all the penalties that were received against them.
Neal's kick deflected, Kellaway chasing through. He regathers, it came off his boot, so they've got 6 more tackles. A chance for Norths here. A try early in this second half would really put the cat among the pigeons. Evans a dummy half. And it comes to Kennedy. He looks out wide, gets it to Cramery. Cramery only 10 metres short of the goal line. Early pressure here for South to Weather. O'Brien with Mackenzie, Kellaway. Did that come off a South's hand? Or was it just floated forward? The pass did go forward. So South weather that early storm, but a good start by North. And we've got South coach Chris Phelan with us. Chris, you had the wind in the first half, but they'll have to do a little bit better in the first minute of the second half.
Yeah, we have started out a little bit lackadaisical, which I warned them about. As far as I'm concerned, the first 40 minutes is gone. We've got to go out and do the stuff and lay the foundation and go on with it from here.
Were you happy with your forwards in the first half?
Yeah, we seem to be doing the stuff and setting it for our backs, but late in the first half, we seemed to start hanging back a bit in our defence, which wasn't wasn't really too happy about.
Yeah, Chris, Craig Groff, he's the little schemer out there. He's playing the edges very well. You'd have to be happy with his form.
Oh, mate, yeah, he's been doing good. He's a great organiser, and, you know, I think hopefully he'll make the difference for us, I think.
Yeah, and he communicates well with the captain, Ken Robertson.
Mate, they do. They both, well, got a common goal, but still it remains to be seen if we can, you know, carry it through.
Thank you, mate.
Chris, one more. Will Jason Hanrahan be back in this game?
No, mate, no. He was in Disneyland at half-time, so we decided for his health we'd give him a break.
Okay, thanks, Chris Phelan. We'll let you get back to it. As a good break down the wing by Guy Harvey. Showing good speed, too, with a cover defence across to nail him. Chase from Craig Groff in cover defence was good, but still Norths go ahead.
Well, North showing plenty of flair here in the opening parts of this first half. They're letting the ball fly across the field, and we see Troy Evans making a good dart up the blind side, and he catches the Souths forwards offside.
Brent Vincent, among others, had never got back. That was great cover defence on Harvey from Groff and Robertson to make the tackle. Harvey flying down the touchline. Here's Troy Evans going himself on the blind side, and they had never got back South. They were just being turned around by the quick play the ball. So North to take the tap, only 10 metres out, and it goes to McCarron. He has worked hard for his side. Slow play the ball, though, holds everything up. O'Brien slips the ball. No, he's forced to hang on to it. He's trying to link up with Danny Johnson. 9 metres out, right in the centre of the field. They can go either way. Kennedy swings it wide. Good football out wide by Bradnam to Cramery. In fact, it was Benson turning it inside to Cramery. Still 10 metres out, and they've wasted a tackle there. Poor play the ball. Neal is caught. Now, again, sloppy players. Evans fumbles it. Benson. Kellaway floats it. Trying to get the pass out towards Bradnam, but a poor pass. Really the wind playing havoc with that pass, which just wasn't thrown hard enough.
That was awful football there by Norths. They had 2 rucks close to the line when their back line was set, and then when they threw the ball out their back line, it was just panicked football. They rushed everything.
And a high tackle comes in from the Norths player on Wakefield. And who's going to be called out here? Kennedy, is it? I think it's Brooke Kennedy. He's being spoken to by the referee, and there was a caution for Kennedy in the first half as well, so he'll need to watch himself. But he has been a clever player so far for them, Brooke Kennedy.
Going back to the game of Sydney Rugby League on Friday night, Paul Sirenson, the Balmain player, was sent off for virtually the same incident.
Top tacklers to date. Johnson leading the way for Norths from McCarron and Kennedy. And for Souths, it's Mark Lane and Peter Deves, the lock forward and front rower, leading the way from Mark Rockley. So all the forwards working hard. Now Floyd Hill. And that ball was plucked out by Evans. That was stupid football.
Yeah, actually, they hold the player down here too, and Troy Evans just pulls the football out, and as you said, Warren, they're just giving away these silly penalties. It's not going to help their cause whatsoever.
Floyd Hill may have helped to flick that up by reefing back, but the fact was that Evans had his hand on the ball and he had no right to. Deves hits it up for South. Good pass back to Deves. That was Mark Lane offloading. 30 metres out now. They hit the blind side. Vincent running off Groff. Carves back infield. Couldn't get through it though. 20 metres out. Groff. Around Hastings, and now he finds Robertson onto Floyd Hill. Can't get away from Harvey. That's a great tackle, winger on winger. 20 metres out still. And Norths get the penalty this time. Against Floyd Hill, a bad play the ball. Throwing it between his legs was the signal.
Yeah, a good tackle here there from Guy Harvey. But we see here when Floyd Hill gets up, but he didn't even play the ball. That should have been a penalty to South, I'm afraid.
It went the wrong way. It would have been yet another penalty to South.
Actually, this poor referee out here, mate, he's having a hard day.
Well, the penalties as they stand are 12-5 now to South, but that could easily have gone the other way and would have made it 13-4. And North, for the most part, could only blame themselves. Evans with the tap. Johnson tries to spin out of the tackle. O'Brien, McKenzie. Well tackled low by Lane. Neal trying to inject a bit of pace. Just one off the ruck, but he made good ground, the fullback.
Number 15's on the paddock there for North, and that's Brett Kelso. Now, Brett Kelso, to me, is one of the best centres in the Brisbane competition. Now, he should make a big difference to this North back line.
Johnson driven sideways by Robertson. Kennedy dumped on the halfway line. Last tackle. Harvey puts it up. Floating. And in trouble is Peter Nokon. Lucky he got the bounce because he was unsure whether to come into it or stay away and allow it to bounce. Really got caught in no man's land. Lane swung to ground by O'Brien. Gary O'Brien has worked hard. Coming on to replace Kane Cross in the first half, and O'Brien hasn't let them down. Groff, Hastings, Robertson, and bursting onto the ball is Donaghy. Now Nokon. The pass went forward though. The last pass from Donaghy out to his winger. Only a fraction forward.
Yeah, there wasn't much in this at all, but every time South let the ball go out along their back line, they look dangerous. They'll either do a cut-out pass, and their backs do look very slick.
O'Brien has it for North now, and Cramer in from the wing. Benson got the pass away. Evans was backing up. Kennedy trips over the top of the South player who was still lurking in there. That was Hastings. And while it might have been a little bit of good work here by Kennedy to make sure he got the penalty, I think. Hill in from the far wing. And a strong tackle by Bradnam. Cameron to play it. White slips it out the back. It was an ambitious offload, but Wakefield managed to keep the possession. Donaghy. They don't want to give him too much room to wind up. Groff. Robertson. Last tackle coming up. 30 metres out. Groff tries these, well, it's not more of a chippy bomb. Oh, play on, and Rockley comes away with it and races away for the try. A piece of luck there for South as the ball was really knocked by the North's hand in the end, and Rockley, in the air I should say, and Rockley was coming through and plucked it out of the air. It wasn't a very good kick, I didn't think, by Groff, but they've certainly managed to make something out of it here as he puts it ahead. And as the North player went up in the air, he had it in his hands, couldn't hold on to it, and Rockley was there to take it straight out of his arms virtually.
Well, I think this is a beaut kick. Look, Craig Groff puts it just on the toe of his boot, but he puts Kelso under pressure. So that's brilliant football, and scores a try. And now I think South will run away with this game.
The try scorer, Mark Rockley, the South's hooker, 25-year-old operations manager. And it's Chris Hastings, his first shot at goal in the second half. And the left footer misses. So the first shot that he has missed, and it wasn't all that far from the post, but South's leading now 22 points to 6.
Well, nothing's going right for the Devils here today, and after this kick by Craig Groff. Now look at Brett Kelso. He makes the effort to get in the air, but Craig Groff actually did give him a little bit of a push there, and Mark Rockley does the job.
You're talking about the kick. I suppose the main thing is no matter whether it's high or a short kick, that you get through as the ball comes down to put pressure on the catcher.
Yeah, well, that's the name of the game, is it? Put the ball receiver under pressure. And that's exactly what he did.
Hill slides underneath the restart to take it and gives it to Chris White. He winds up to bring it back. So South now in a handy position in this game, leading by 16 points. There's still 23 minutes to go, and North have certainly put in a better performance in the second half. Deves, tackled low by Johnson. White, up to halfway. Hastings sends Neal right across field. He's got Cramery with him, but there's a wall of Magpie jerseys in front, and Donaghy and Nocon wrap him up. Cramery. Crossfield goes Benson. McKenzie couldn't take it. Kennedy was there. Forwards now starting to work it out. McCarron working with his other men. Johnson.
Pick it up, fellas! Pick it up! Let's go, Marcus, work!
We see that Brett Kelso's moved into the 5'8" position for North. Now, he should control things a lot better there from that position.
Kennedy always looking to unload. He had his back into the tackle, ready to throw it out the back if anyone was following. Good ball from O'Brien, away to the big front row of McCarron. Beautiful football. O'Brien slipping the pass away to the big front row, ready to back up as he has been all day. Now a chance for North. The kicker knocked over as he got the kick through to Cameron. Kick put through by Bradnam. Nocon now for South. Decides to go back to try and get around them, but McKenzie chases him down.
And he lost about 3 or 4 yards in the process.
Wakefield just got away from McCarron.
Yeah, Andrew McCarron, he's been in everything here today. He hasn't stopped trying. We just seen him make that real good run upfield, and he's one player who can hold his head up.
Vincent fighting for the quick play the ball. McCarron pushes him down, and Vincent played for the penalty. Davis, or Hastings I should say. Nocon. Just short of the halfway line. We're up to the last tackle, South. Groff. Gets the bounce, regathers to Donaghy. This will be a sprint. Kelso, a great tackle. Robertson, great hands, and Robertson scores the try. Centre to centre. Kelso did well to get to Donaghy, but as he was falling, he just managed to keep it alive. All started by Craig Groff with the chip kick, which bounced beautifully. Attacking football on the last tackle. Groff did beautifully here, got the bounce to perfection. Donaghy well positioned. Kelso with a beautiful tackle. That pass went back and was well handled by Robertson, way above his head. That's difficult to take, and he managed it.
Craig Groff, he does this little chip kick to perfection. Puts it straight on the point, bounced up beautifully for him, and good work there too by Donaghy, and he gets the ball back to Kenny Robertson, and I think poor old North's here in all sorts of trouble.
Robertson scores his second try of the match, and South are now leading 26-6. Chris Hastings, from a difficult angle, missed his last shot at goal, so he's trying to make amends here. He's had a pretty good day with the boot. This isn't all that easy, and he makes a mess of it. So the last kick may have knocked his confidence around. Score remains 26-6 in favour of the Magpies. Probably the best try of the game.
Yeah, Warren, why don't North put pressure on a player like Craig Groff? They know he's going to chip kick. Why don't they put pressure on him? Can you answer that one for me?
Well, maybe they're running out of gas, saving themselves rather than trying to get to him. But you're right, he's been a key playmaker all game. And that was great football by Donaghy and Robertson to finish it off.
And good to see Brett Kelso there too, still try to stop the try being scored. But you would honestly think that Craig Groff had leprosy or something, honestly.
So Chris White in his in-goal area manages to cut it off. And steams back upfield. He's an athletic-looking footballer, Chris White. Looks to be in pretty good shape.
And you'll find that from every kick-off, the ball goes to Chris White, and he brings it up and makes good yardage.
And now Peter Deves, who also has worked solidly. It was all set up for South by the forwards in the first half. They started the second half just a little shakily as North came out firing. Once they weathered that first 5 or so minutes, they've managed to get back on top. Unable to handle it this time. Coming through was Phil Cameron. He put it down. Norths have a chance on the halfway line. Both these teams losing quite a few players from last year, but Norths in particular. The evergreen Darryl Duncan finally retiring, playing the off-season in England, but won't be playing in Brisbane again. Well, we don't think so anyway. Kennedy gets it wide out to Bradnam. He keeps the pass alive, and now Harvey carves back inside. Good work by Neil to get the pass to him. Kennedy stays alive. Neil backing up well. No support for him there. They're only a couple of metres out. It's the last tackle. The backs are set. What will they do? A kick by O'Brien is knocked back by South. And so they retain possession through Deves, who's been hurt. So South down near their own post, but they'll be trying to keep it cool and calm. They've got the lead. As long as they don't do anything silly, Norths aren't going to bridge it.
Yeah, well, Norths definitely haven't given up the ghost here. They're still putting plenty into their tackles, and they will try to make that scoreline look pretty reasonable.
Up to the last tackle. Hastings hooking it out towards Harvey. Straight to him. And Lloyd Hill goes underneath and makes the tackle. Neil. Bradnam. Just continuing with the list of some of the North players who haven't come back for season 93, along with Darryl Duncan. Bob Campbell has gone to West. Good football here by Cramery, and also Benson finally run out of support. Pat Shumavavi playing with the Gold Coast. Darren Bell retired. Jason Adams has switched to South. So a few names from last season. Noel Tierney has joined Wynnum. So the depth for North is down a little this season.
But North's
good ball by Johnson. Close to the line, and it could be a try. I think the referee's going to award it. And backing up to score the try, Gary O'Brien. So North, while little chance of winning this game, haven't thrown the towel in. It's 26 points to 10. They're still 16 points behind. And Grant Ricks still working hard on the bench, maybe about to make a change. Pretty good football here by North, as Danny Johnson went to the line, stood in the tackle, got the pass away, and O'Brien spinning to get the ball down over the line in the tackle of Cameron.
Yeah, North's starting to put a good bit of ball together here, and good work there by Danny Johnson. He gets the ball and just pops that little pass out to Gary O'Brien, and a good try.
Gary O'Brien will be hoping that there's a few more tries in store this season. And he chips it between the posts. So the gap bridged a little by North. 26 to 12 now in favour of the Magpies.
And this is what Norths have to do for the rest of this game. They've got to let the ball flow around from one side of the paddock to us to the other. They've got nothing to lose. And do things like that, like Danny Johnson, unload the football, back up like Gary O'Brien, who scored the try.
Chris Phelan must be fairly satisfied with the performance of his team. A few changes in South's lineup this year as well. It appears that Rick Hastie, Phil Tarditi, Mark Clarkson, Andrew Richards aren't with the club this year. I don't know whether any of those players are injured, but certainly not appearing in any grades today.
One player there I'd like to see get more involved for Norths is the fullback Lex Neal. He's got to inject himself into that back line when the ball goes out along there. He's just standing out there virtually doing nothing.
A good kick downfield by O'Brien. Pushes Cameron back to his corner. That's a great kick. 12 minutes to go in the match. Thorpe will want to make sure this feed is a good one for his side. The penalty goes to North against the hooker. Feed across the tunnel. So this will be interesting.
They'll have to take a quick tap for sure and put the pressure right back onto Souths.
So here go North. That's Wade Fenton on the field. sent out by Grant Ricks to do the job late in the game. Evans gets it to O'Brien, looking for his second try. 10 metres out. Kelso. Johnson is close. South defence will want to hold here.
They should come down the right-hand side, but I think they've taken the wrong option there.
O'Brien, that's clumsy football as it came out to Benson. He tried to throw the pass and it was offside play. Penalty goes to South. Benson trying to force the pass, which wasn't on, and in the end he made such a mess of it, it was offside as Mackenzie had overrun him.
They went down the left-hand side. They should have went down the right because that's where the South had the fewer numbers and they would have scored the try, and I can't see, you've got to count heads.
So South get the chance to steady the situation down. They're becoming a little rattled. And they'll slow it right down. Stephen Milligan, I think he's on the field for South as well. Vincent. That's Milligan now, darting to the blind side. Groff still linking it out to the backs.
Also, I think that number 1, Tony Wattups, he's on the field.
So a few late changes late in the game by Chris Field and a couple of fresh men. Wattups and Milligan. But the methodical Hastings keeps pushing those kicks downfield. Certainly been a solid base for their game, the kicking of Hastings and the hit-ups of the forwards always getting over the advantage line as Harvey is driven back. They're only 10 metres from their own posts. Cramery. It was interesting to see in reserve grade for South today, Isai Siganyabi, who played rugby union for Queensland.
And had a brilliant game also.
So interesting to see whether he can make his mark in rugby league as well as rugby union.
They're short down the right-hand side of South. North have got to let this ball go. Far too slow.
Robertson up on Neil, and he jolted the momentum of the attack. Neil forced to turn inside. Now Mackenzie resents the tackle. Kick from O'Brien is a solid one. Certainly Mackenzie didn't appreciate the tackle of Jeff Wakefield back upfield. This scrum packing 12 metres inside the South's half. Penalty goes to the Magpies. Feed across against North's front row this time. The Brisbane referees a little more pedantic in enforcing the rules of the scrum than their Sydney counterparts, but it makes the scrum more of a contest.
Yeah, and poor, look at Troy Evans. He just walks back shaking head. He just can't believe it.
Speaking of referees, there was a minute's silence before this game for a former referee, Len Jacobson. Had been in the refereeing association ranks for 56 years, and he died during the off-season, and a mark of respect from the players and the spectators before the game for him. It's been a solid effort from South. Second game in 4 days. They must be getting a little tired.
I think you'll find in that midweek game in the State League that South did rest most of their key players and virtually fielded a reserve grade side, so don't worry about that. All these blokes out here are pretty fit.
Milligan showing that he's got a fresh pair of legs because he was pretty quick across the ground a moment back. Lane to play it eventually. Groff holds the pass up. It wasn't pressure of defence, it was the runners getting in each other's road. Robertson left behind by Tony Wattups, and North have got the ball. Lex Neal's been getting into the play in the last few minutes. Quite happy to get in amongst the forwards and do the work. And now they put it down. Vincent picks it up, slips it away. Rockley going for his second try, buried from behind.
That's good work there by South. They picked up the loose ball and immediately went on the attack, and they've got North here under awful pressure.
Really turned defence into attack very smartly as Wakefield plays it.
Look at their back line, nice and deep, and the ball goes out to Donaghy.
Hastings, Vincent stepping away from the man. Looked like he'd made the break. Now it's Hastings, almost through himself. Donaghy at dummy half. Throws a long ball out to Nokon. He could have gone, I thought, straight ahead. It's another forward pass. Peter Nokon's been on the end of a couple of forward passes. In fact, the earlier one was from Donaghy as well. That was very nearly try time. Could Nokon have gone straight ahead here rather than stepping back in?
No, I think he did the right thing there, but the ball must have been marginally forward, but a good cut-out pass to Nokon, and good thinking by the Souths players.
The Norths have got it. This is David Asplin. So both teams using up most of their 4 replacements now. Benson has a go for the Devils. 5 minutes to go. North's leading 20. I should say South's leading 26-12.
I think the loss of Daryl Duncan to North this year, you know, they're really going to miss him, because what I've seen out there today, they've got nobody there to scheme, to plan, and they're lacking the leadership, and they're really going to miss Daryl Duncan.
Deep kick from Lex Neal, away from Waddups. And did it go over the dead ball line or not? He seems to be playing.
Yes, the lineman on the far side was waving his flag, so the ball did go dead.
Referee Burnt, for a moment, was going to say a goal line dropout.
I've been very impressed with Craig Groff's form today. He's been the schemer. We see a brilliant break up here. I think it's by Brent Vincent.
On it goes to Milligan. Milligan working off the great break upfield.
That's a terrible defence there by North. He just opened them right up the middle of the ruck, and they look very dangerous here, Souths.
Donaghy claps on the speed. Well tackled, though, by Cramery and also Benson. Benson hurt in the tackle. Now Nokon fires the pass onto Vincent. Vincent's got support. Coming through is Hastings. They're only 12 metres out. South still hungry. There's a North and South player down, writhing in agony in the background. Donaghy is the South player. Now White offloads to Wakefield. He flings the pass out, and Waddup scores the try, and what a good try it was. From one end of the field to the other in 3 tackles. And it was very good football by South at the end to pop the passes up. The support play was there. And it was finally finished here as Groff turned it back inside to the rampaging Chris White. He got it away to Jeff Wakefield. The last pass was a beauty to Tony Waddup, backing up.
Yeah, brilliant football here. Craig Groff goes across the field, looks outside, but gives the ball to big Chris White, who stands up in the tackle. But what about that other pass to Tony Waddup? Look, I think Chris White's had a brilliant game.
Tony Waddup, the scorer of the try, and he'd been on the field a couple of minutes. Welcome to A grade for him. More kicking practice for Chris Hastings. He's kicked 5 from 7. A straight approach and lays the ball down and puts it straight between the posts. So they cracked the 30-point mark. South lead 32-12.
Look, I've been saying all day about Chris White. Look, he's having a brilliant game. But this movement started way upfield. And we get to a position here.
I think it was it Brent Vincent making the original break or Jeff Wakefield, one of the two, but they certainly carried it downfield, and this is where it all started.
Yeah, Paul Donahue, another one. He's running at gaps all day, and we see the ball swing out here along the South's back line.
There's Vincent involved again, so it was good football in the lead-up by South. The Souths have it wrapped up, leading by 20 points with just a minute to go. Maybe 2 minutes at most. Hastings out to Robertson. Still going with Waddup, who's proving to be a jack-in-the-box since coming on. Overall tackles pretty much evenly shared. North's making 150, South 147. Here's Vincent finding open spaces again. Too many errors from North. Mainly missed tackles adding up to that count. And the penalties 14-7. South's way, 10-3 in the first half when most of the damage was done. The scrums 5-3 to South. So all the stats favouring the Magpies, and they're on top on the scoreboard. Well, they finished second last in 91. They finished equal fifth last year. And their most recent grand final victory in the Brisbane Rugby League was 1985. Is there another one coming in 1993? A long way to go. Missed tackles. Too many by North. 20 missed tackles. South tighter, only conceding 10.
Well, you can't win matches missing that many tackles, Ron.
And lost possessions 5-4 tells the story as well. So everything favouring South, and they have dominated for the most part this game. North's coming back midway through the second half to give a showing that South, the better team on the day, and they have taken the points by 32-12. And there he is, big Chris White, the man of the match, has given the nod by Tom Radonicus. Former Manly back rower playing in the front row today for the Magpies. Chris, welcome back to Brisbane football. Were you always going to play when you came back to Brisbane from Manly?
Well, I was undecided at first, Warren, but got a few phone calls from various clubs and sort of made my mind up I was going to always play after that, yeah.
What did you find the difference today between the Sydney standard of football and what you experienced in Brisbane today?
Oh, just the little bit of lack of commitment and the pace of the game. Like sometimes you turn around and there'd be no one with you, you know what I mean? And like in Sydney, you turn around, there's always someone there to back you up. But no, it was a pretty good pace today, I thought.
So it seemed pretty tough in there. A lot of big hits from both teams.
Yeah, there is a lot of big, like the players are the same size, and it's just the pace that differs between Brisbane and Sydney.
And a good combination between the South's forwards, particularly in that first half. You put it together very well.
Yes, I think we got the pack that's going to take us to the final this year. No, without a doubt.
I'm sure it's going to be up to you to lead the way, so good luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks, Warren.